John, it's been billed as the game between the best two teams in the country. Is that how you see it?
I wouldn't look at it like that at all. Listen, it's game 2 of the round robin series, you know, and that's what it'll be for both of us. You know, we've got off to a positive start last week, but we need to build on that now this week.
During the build-up, some suggestions we might have some shadow boxing tonight. Teams may hold back a little. What's the Limerick approach?
I can guarantee you there won't be any holding back on either side. You know, listen, that's not the way it works. You know, everybody goes out every week to put in their best performance. You know, you might be down a player or two, but you'll go out to put in your best performance and hope that that'll be good enough.
You're missing 3 of your All-Ireland team tonight. You've had to dip into the squad. Are you happy with what you have? You're 26. Are you stretched a little?
Not at all, no. Very happy with the guys that we have. You know, listen, this is their opportunity. They've been waiting for this opportunity, and, you know, they got to take it with both hands, and it's only good for the group as a whole overall.
Finally, John, what kind of a game can we expect?
Well, listen, we've got good conditions apart from the breeze. There's a very, very strong breeze, you know, going from the east to the west here. So that's going straight down the middle of the field. So I think that's going to be a factor in the first half, whichever side gets to have it or play into it. So that'll be an interesting part of it. Other than that, the conditions are very good.
John, thank you very much. Best of luck.
Thank you very much.
Liam, a big game. What's the most important thing tonight, a performance or a result?
Both, Mike. We're going to have to get greedy. We're looking for both coming into the lines then here in the Gaelic grounds. Again, a team like of outstanding class. So yeah, big task ahead of us now for the next couple of hours.
What did you learn from watching Limerick last weekend?
I learned that they're still, you know, the best team in the country. Massive intensity, array of players with versatile players that can play anywhere in the field, and we'll have to be on our game tonight, Mike, from the start to have any chance here.
Some people saying that Waterford will have to bring something different tonight if they're to get the right result. Can we expect a curveball, something we haven't seen before?
No, but you will see different matchups and different personnel, like, you know, versus this tie last July or whatever it was for the All-Ireland semi-final. Our personnel has changed quite a bit, so we'd be hoping that that'll stand us in good stead tonight.
It's not do or die. There's a good chance Limerick and Waterford will meet again. What's the message from you to your team tonight?
My team tonight, Mike, is really to come down here and get a result. It's a great opportunity to see have we made learnings over the last 2.5 years during my term. So looking forward to the encounter.
Thanks very much, Liam.
Thanks very much.
Well, it's the match that the hurling world has been waiting for. 2 of Munster's big 5 going head-to-head for the first time this summer, but everyone expecting them to meet again before too long. Let's take a check on the teams then, beginning with Limerick. And John Kiley has picked the strongest team available to him and sends out 12 of the side that started last year's All-Ireland final. Just one change from last Sunday's win over Cork. Kyle Hayes is injured, so Conor Boylan from the Piershig starts at 14. Goalkeeper Nicky Quaid makes his 50th championship appearance, while hurler of the year Cian Lynch leads the attack. And the Munster and All-Ireland champions are captained by number 6, Declan Hannon from Adair. Liam Cahill has made 2 late changes to the Waterford team that started against Tip 6 days ago. Number 17, Irla Daly, replaces his brother Corach, and number 26, Austin Gleeson, starts instead of Neil Montgomery. Waterford's defence is anchored by sweeper Taig de Burka, with captain Conor Prunty wearing number 3. Up front, the attack will be spearheaded by top scorer and free taker Stephen Bennett from Ballysagard. Jamie Barron is again held in reserve. Well, a beautiful evening for a game here at the Gaelic grounds in Limerick. Perfect conditions. Crowd of around 30,000 people expected. And Nicky English, a real carnival atmosphere when you come through the gates, and it's building with every minute.
Yeah, huge expectation, Mike. This is the 2 best teams in the country, really, and it's going to be an unbelievable occasion.
Now, before tonight's game gets underway, we'll have a moment's silence in memory of the late Kate Moran.
May she rest in peace.
So Kate Moran from Monavea in County Galway, who died so tragically last week during a camogie match with Athenry, remembered here in Limerick. And our deepest sympathies to Kate's family and friends at this very, very difficult time. Now we pause for the national anthem. Limerick's first home game in the championship since the 2019 Munster final, and the home crowd out in force. There's our match referee, Sean Stack, from the Parnells club in County Dublin, his linesmen Colm Lyons and Steinman Stokes from Cork. Well, it's time to find out who will blink first, the champions or the challengers. Round 2 of the round-robin Munster Championship is underway. Waterford won the toss. They'll have the breeze behind them here in the opening half, and a very strong breeze it is, Nicky.
Yeah, it's a big breeze brung from right to left here, and you know, when Waterford won the toss, they were right, I think, to take the advantage of the breeze. And interestingly, they've already made positional changes. Conor Prunty has come out to mark Rd.2.
Dan Morrissey looking for Aaron Gillan, beaten in the air by Irla Daly. A late inclusion in the Waterford team, and he's moved on to Limerick's top scorer already. Driving out with that ball came Tadhg de Burka. Support here from Dara Lyons, who's tackled high and grounded, and Sean Stack with a decision to make already.
Yeah, and Waterford very much up for it. You see Irla Daly winning the ball, winning possession. They're going short, and Dara Lyons taking on Hegarty and drawing the foul, and maybe looking to get a yellow card as well.
Well, the smell of fireworks in the air here at the Gaelic grounds, and a little on the field as well in the first minute. That was very high from Gareth Hegarty. No card, no word in the ear either.
Yeah, you'll see plenty of those getting yellow cards.
So Stephen Bennett to take the free, more or less on the halfway line. Breeze behind him, and there's the opening score.
Great strike from Bennett. Now you see from the puck out, you see Waterford are actually pushing up on the Limerick full back line and forcing Nicky Quaid to go long, as Jamesy pointed out in the preview.
Cian Lynch jumping with Dara Lyons, who's back on his feet again and good to go. Ball lost in the tackle, and Dan Morrissey scoops it forward into the space in front of Cian Lynch, the magic man on the 40 for Limerick. Spins onto his right-hand side, but the breeze took the air out of it. And out comes Sean O'Brien, who's been trapped and pressured by Graham Mulcahy, and that's a free out.
Sean O'Brien was under a bit of pressure there. You see Graham Mulcahy says he's overcarried it, and that's what Graham Mulcahy brings. He brings a lot of work rate. First of all, Sean O'Brien might have caught it instead of taking it under Hurley. He didn't overcarry it, and Graham Mulcahy probably just didn't need to foul him there, but he was just caught in his legs.
Waterford back here chasing their first championship win over Limerick for 11 years, as Declan Hannon, the Limerick captain, wins that in the air and sets Limerick on the front foot again. Will O'Donoghue hooked from behind by Jack Prendergast, who just came on the blind side. He's got pace to burn. O'Donoghue is after him and gaining, and he uses his power to dispossess the Waterford man and to win the break as well. Limerick's midfield enforcer involved in the opening minutes. The collisions coming thick and fast. Mike Casey fires it into the corner in front of Gillan. Just bounced a little awkwardly. Irla Daly is there. Graham Mulcahy trying to help. Down went Conor Boylan, and eventually line ball to Waterford.
Great intensity to the game. You see Will O'Donoghue, the power of him belting into the Waterford fellas, dispossessing them. And you know, we said Jack Prendergast has plenty of pace, but so has Donoghue. You saw him chasing back Dara Fitzgibbon last week for Cork, but it's a great start to the game.
Well, it's been a frantic first 3.5 minutes as McNulty cuts this out. Well controlled by Dara Lyons. And there's a great corridor of space in front of Calum Lyons, who takes on the shot, backs himself with the wind. And that's away to the left for Waterford's first wide.
Yeah, I think Sean Stack had given an advantage and possibly going back to give the free to Waterford.
Turned out to be a free shot for Lyons, so Waterford will come back to take the free. And Garrod Egerty, who did foul a few minutes ago, is booked for the second free he's given away.
It's very early, 4 minutes. Garrod Hegarty has picked up that yellow card, which maybe he could have got, you see, just slapping across the hand. And lots of times we've seen Garrod being a bit loose with the hurley like that, and something part of his game that he just needs to tighten up on.
So the 2020 Hurler of the Year is in the book, and Stephen Bennett is standing on the Waterford 65. Conditions perfect, particularly with that breeze behind him. 2 for him, 2 for Waterford, and so far so good.
Yeah, suits Bennett. He can cut it in. The wind is slightly up into the left corner, and he can cut it in from right to left nicely.
Nicky Quaid playing in his 50th championship match this evening, looking for Tom Morrissey, who's switched wings. Well taken by Jack Fagan, finds Calum Lyons, and now the ball is driven into space. Lovely control by Sean Finn. He's won 4 All-Stars in a row, the Limerick cornerback. Needs help, comes from Diarmuid Burns. And just look at all the space over on that left wing. Dan Morrissey lets the ball do the work in towards Gillan, who overran it. And this is Conor Gleeson. First touch for Austin Gleeson, a late inclusion in the Waterford team. Lovely stick work by Waterford. Lovely combination play. Stephen Bennett to Desi Hutchinson. Normally thinks goals, takes the point, and the underdogs, the outsiders, off to a flying start.
Great play by Waterford, straight up the middle of the field. Great take by Gleeson originally, then transferred to Tadhg de Burka, always looking for the next man, and very encouraging start for Waterford.
So the National League champion setting the early pace. Cian Lynch found a pocket of space to win the puck out, trying to wrong foot Tadhg de Burka. Support from Hegarty. Now Dara O'Donovan, just one man inside to aim at, but there was holding, spotted by the referee. Free in. Aaron Gillan was being held before he made the run.
Yeah, Iarla Daly had a hold of Aaron Gillan. You'll probably see it from this angle behind the goals. There you go, there's the free, and well spotted by Sean Stack. But Limerick not able to win as much ball up in their full forward line as they have in previous matches, and probably that's the likes of Seamus Flanagan. We saw Kyle Hayes there last week winning ball after ball. Peter Casey was again another great ball winner up there. So Gillan and Graham Mulcahy haven't been able to make that ball stick, but I suppose in their defence Limerick are playing against the wind.
Aaron Gillan hit 1-4 against Cork down at Porky Queeve last weekend. That's his first. Limerick opened their account in the 7th minute. Strong sun shining into the eyes of Sean O'Brien as he drills this right into the Limerick half-back line. Diarmuid Burns went highest. Ball breaks to Jack Prendergast. Runs being made left and right. He's looking for the diagonal ball to pick out Lyons. It was Jack Fagan who'd made the run to the back post, actually, and here is Fagan. Goal chance, blocked initially, still not cleared. Mikey Kiley trying to get it under control. Surrounded by the Limerick back line. Free out for overcarry. Well, that's what they do so well.
Limerick defence is absolutely superb, but initially there was a great chance for Jack Fagan. He really just had to control the ball initially, and he had to have a great chance to score, but he missed control. Did well to win it back and hold the ball there, but great chance lost.
Blocked by Barry Nash, who seemed to put the hurley behind his back to block the Schlitter, as Cian Lynch shows a really strong right hand, but he's pulled up as he caught that ball. It looks like a hamstring injury. He's gone down immediately, and this could be a big turning point. What
a great catch by Cian Lynch, but I think he's pulled his hamstring, and this is more woe for Limerick. And you saw last week Kyle Hayes gone, Seamus Flanagan the week before. Now we've said before, you've asked John Kiley about dipping into the resources, and here this is the key man for Limerick now. And how long is he going to be out for with his hamstring is the key question every Limerick supporter will be asking.
Well, you could see him pull up immediately. Now, he did get a clatter of a hurley as he came across as well after winning the ball. But John Kiley already without Kyle Hayes, Seamus Flanagan and Peter Casey from the All-Ireland winning team. The last man he would want to lose is last year's hurler of the year.
Yeah, and he's going to lose him. I think the clatter of the hurley across was the least of the worries. You can see how impeded he is trying to limp off. That hamstring, right hamstring went there on Cian Lynch, and this is worrying times for Limerick. Not just in the context of this game, but in the context of their season.
So Cian Lynch's 33rd championship appearance ends after 9 minutes, and in comes number 23, Cathal O'Neill, to join the Limerick attack.
But there has been rumours that Cian Lynch has been struggling a bit with hamstring injury over the last number of weeks, and maybe those rumours are true.
So short puck out from Nicky Quaid to Sean Finn. Hannon. This is Barry Nash, the ball-playing cornerback, crosses the halfway line. First chance for Cathal O'Neill to show what he can do. Shortens the grip, shoots into the city end. What a dream start for Cathal O'Neill.
Yeah, great, very promising player. Did very well when he came on against Cork last Sunday. Got on the ball plenty and carried it, but huge boots to fill at centre forward. But that's a good start for him.
So it's back to a one-point game here in the evening sunshine in Limerick City. Again, Diarmuid Byrnes was underneath. It runs through to Nash. Brings Nicky Quaid into the game. And the Limerick goalkeeper keeps it simple and picks out Dan Morrissey. Declan Hannon, the Limerick quarterback, picks out the pass. He's looking for Darragh O'Donovan, but too much pace on it. Liam Cahill felt there was a foul there on Tadhg de Búrca. Referee lets the play continue. Cathal O'Neill chasing Darragh Lyons, who has to improvise to get out of trouble. Here's Gleeson, bottled up. Austin Gleeson breaks the tackles. Looking to slip the hand pass through in a very crowded area. And I'm not quite sure how he managed it, but Conor Boylan somehow managed to win the ball back and win the free.
Yeah, touch has to be absolutely perfect, because you're not getting it in the first chance here. You're being surrounded very, very quickly by all sides. Great intensity to the game, and you know, Limerick have, despite the loss of Lynch, they've upped their intensity. Their backs have started to get a grip. Barry Nash doing well, Hannon doing well. Their difficulties are a little bit more up the field, but at the same time they have settled quite well.
So Diarmuid Byrnes hit 3 points from frees last Sunday, but he's driving this one into the teeth of a very strong wind, but he's got a huge belt of a ball, and that's an outrageous score from Diarmuid Byrnes. Sides level for the first time.
Outrageous is the word. That's a fantastic point, and we saw him doing it last week against Cork just when they really needed it. So great score.
Inspirational score from Byrnes as Waterford attack again down that right flank. Driving through is Calum Lyons, still going, shortens the grip and takes the point on the run. Well, he's a big, strong man, the midfielder from Ballydufflore, and he's just put Waterford back in front.
Yeah, superb run, and got Will O'Donoghue to follow him all the way, and did well to finish at the end.
Puck out went over O'Neill, gathered by Tadhg de Búrca. Here's Gleeson, sets his feet, drills it first time. Radar not working just yet. That's away for a second. Waterford wide.
Yeah, he had well control and hit it nice and easily, but just the wrong side of the post. But a good chance for Gleeson, but he's been playing well since the start.
Taken down by Jack Fagan under no real pressure. He's going to take on the shot. Waterford shooting at goal. That seems to be their first instinct with the wind behind them, but it's another miss.
Yeah, and we saw that from them in the All-Ireland semi-final last year when they were in control against Limerick and had the balance of play. They didn't put the scores up on the board.
There you can see the All-Ireland champions much more efficient so far. That's a loose hand pass though. It left Declan Hannon a little short. Stephen Bennett to Patrick Curran. Sean Stack won't play the advantage. Instead, a free from where the ball landed for the foul on Bennett. And Sean Stack, I think, just explaining to the Waterford man why he called back the play.
Yeah, Stephen Bennett, I think, rightly questioning why he did call it back, because Patrick Curran was in oceans of space.
Well, Cian Lynch looking disconsolate on the Limerick bench. His evening over before it had even started.
Yeah, and you know, with a hamstring like that, it's very hard to see him back before 3 or 4 weeks, and be a lot of hurling played by then.
Stephen Bennett, 10 points from frees against Tip, 3 from frees so far this evening. Just extends the Waterford advantage once more. Nicky Quaid is trying to mix up the puck-outs as best he can, but without Cian Lynch, that half-forward line struggling to win their own ball. Time to Borka. Crossed wires with Austin Gleeson, and Conor Boylan can nip in to intercept, but unable to punish the mistake, and that's well wide.
Poor mistake by Ty de Burka. He actually threw a stray pass last week again against Tip, but that's very, very poor from Conor Boylan. He really hadn't any conviction in the shot.
This time Waterford goes short with the puck out, then Iarla Daly goes long, and out comes Quaid again. That ball is very close to the end line. In fact, it had crossed it. Umpire flags a 65. Good pressure by Waterford's Michael Kiley.
Yeah, Michael Kiley is physically very, very strong. Watch, once he gets near Nicky Quaid, yeah, he can push him out over the sideline or the end line very easily. He's powerful full forward.
Well, Limerick unbeaten in their last 7 Munster Championship games, going for 4 provincial titles in a row, but they're in a game here after 15 minutes, and Liam Cahill, you'd imagine, must be quite pleased with how things are going.
Yeah, I'd say he's happy enough with the amount of possession they have and the fact that they're keeping the likes of Hegarty, Morrissey, all those boys are being kept very, very quiet, but still at the same time they only have 5 points up in the scoreboard. They've missed a few that they should have scored.
Stephen Bennett, all-star back in 2020. Well, he hasn't put a foot wrong so far. Taps that 65 over with the breeze, and it's double scores here. Limerick again trying to play that precise ball out of defence, but Waterford have pushed up and crowded that area and knocked the All-Ireland champions out of their stride. Ball popped to Calum Lyons, who fires it in and over the bar. 2 for him, 7 for Waterford.
Yeah, Waterford winning that midfield battle, and you see, you know, Cathal O'Neill was able to get on that ball, but he just, you know, it's a nervous occasion for him. He's just dropped it out of his hands, and then when he dropped it, Waterford were onto it like a flash.
4 points without reply in 4 minutes for Waterford, and it's seen them surge ahead here. They're winning so many breaks. Patrick Curran tried to twist out of the tackle and now escapes the clutch of Limerick defenders. Out to Calum Lyons again, looking for 2 in a minute, 3 in all, and hits the target. Well, he's hit a real rich vein of form, and Waterford go 5 clear.
Yeah, and in the last couple of years Limerick have totally dominated midfield against Waterford, but not tonight, and Calum Lyons is the star of that area at the moment.
That's 5 points in quick succession for Liam Cahill's team. They're setting the pace, dictating the tempo. Limerick, remember, without Cian Lynch, off injured after only 9 minutes. Conor Prunty struggles to lift that ball. Conor Boylan, and now Gillan is onto it. Tries to hurdle the challenge, no free. Shane McNulty wins it back. And this is Darragh Lyons, runs into Garrod Hegarty. Not the smartest move in the world, but he's still going. Left the ball behind. Collision between Prunty and Morrissey. Now Diarmuid Burns to try and bring some sense and some calm to it, and Burns drills over his second point.
Some great physical challenges, and the ball broke to Burns, and as he did last Sunday, Burns really answering the call for Limerick.
Waterford go long, testing out that Limerick full-back line. Jack Prendergast lifts it, tries to move up through the gears, but no way through. Limerick again get bodies in around the ball carrier. O'Donovan, Dan Morrissey, free out, foul on the defender.
Yeah, Dan Morrissey's seriously strong man as well, and you know, when others were being pushed off of there and Darragh Donovan just couldn't get back down into his hand, Morrissey was able to use his strength.
Well, John Kiley told us before the match he guaranteed nobody would be holding back, and he's been true to his word. Garrod Hegarty taken down in full flight. Conor Prunty may have a case to answer here.
Yeah, I think Hegarty just got on it, and watch, Prunty is just, yeah, it's I wouldn't think it's a yellow card. It's certainly a free, and I suppose Limerick crowd get onto the ref. They felt Galan before that had been fouled in a similar incident just up in the right-hand corner there.
John Kiley not happy, making his feelings known to the linesman Simon Stokes.
And I think it's about that Galan trip.
So all eyes turn to Diarmuid Burns from Patrick's Well. We're 19 minutes in. Diarmuid Burns hits it straight and true. 3 points for the wing back. Finished with 6 last weekend, and already his tally mounting.
Range has never been an issue for Diarmuid Burns, but in this season his accuracy has been unbelievable.
Jack Fagan, who's moving around the field and trying to wrong foot the Limerick defence. He's under this. So too, though, is Sean Finn. So good in close contact. Took an extra touch there just to pick out the pass he wanted, and finds Graham Mulcahy. He'll be 32 in July, the Limerick corner forward. Waterford have won the ball back. McNulty chased down by a pack of Limerick men and bottled up, and he's overcarried, and that's a psychological victory for Limerick.
Yeah, it's a fantastic game. You know, here's McNulty. He's strong himself, but look, he's surrounded by O'Donoghue, Hegarty. They're all around him, and just previously Waterford actually got around Graham Mulcahy and dispossessed him. So you don't have a second on the ball here tonight. You get it away and find someone in a better position, or you'll be caught in possession. Outstanding game so far.
Well, he didn't have time to think, Shane McNulty, let alone play the pass. And Diarmuid Burns is again pressed into action. One of a plethora of Limerick men with 3 All-Ireland senior medals and 4 points this evening. And Limerick slowly and surely reeling Waterford back in. Short puck out from O'Brien to Iarla Daly. Now he tries to pick out Patrick Curran. Ball bobbled again a little. Now he has it under control. An inviting pass looking for Jack Prendergast, finds Kiley. Stephen Bennett spins. Just couldn't wind up enough to get the shot away, and blocked down by Diarmuid Burns and away by Tom Morrissey. Well, it's a free in for an illegal hand pass. Sean Stack said he didn't see a clear striking action, and all that good work by Limerick undone.
It was an unbelievable defence by Limerick. They got around. I mean, Bennett first of all turned back onto his right, and he just couldn't take a swing because they were all over him, and then blocked down when he turned back the other way. And you know, you see this early in the championship where referees are trying to police the hand pass and trying to make sure that the players are actually striking the ball with the hand.
Easy for Stephen Bennett, his personal tally up to 5. Now Iarla Daly is in some trouble down at the other end of the field. The Lismore man, a late inclusion in the Waterford team. Let's take another look at what happened. Just landed very awkwardly on that left ankle.
Yeah, that looks troublesome really for Iarla Daly. He's going to try to play on with it, but certainly looked like he twisted it.
How would you sum things up, Nicky, at this stage of the game?
It really is very intense. Waterford playing with a strong breeze, probably have had the better of it. But Limerick, you know, with allowing for the loss of Lynch, have been hanging in well. Their defence is really superb, and nothing between the teams.
Game restarts. Iarla Daly is going to try and play on. Garrod Hegarty pops it through to Cathal O'Neill. Graham Mulcahy has made a break. O'Neill will go for his own score, and he's driven it wide. Limerick's second miss, and for a moment there was an opening for a goal chance.
Yeah, I think he got caught in 2 minds. There was an open for a goal chance. He could have given it to Mulcahy, chose to take the point, which was probably the right option. But, you know, again, a little bit unsettled. He's a very inexperienced player, and you know, that's the difference between him and Cian Lynch if he's in that position.
Conor Gleeson's through ball picks out Stephen Bennett. He's being well shackled by Sean Finn, who got the block on it to take the sting out of the shot, and away by Dara O'Donovan. Again, it's a precise short pass to Garrod Hegarty. the original green giant in that Limerick forward line, but he's been penalised for overcarrying. Held on too long.
Garrod Hegarty is, you know, watch it here. I don't know, it's look, he's maybe a little bit harsh on him. Caleb Lyons probably didn't obviously foul him, but it was hard to pull him for overcarrying based on what he did.
Well, I think the first broken hurley of the evening also belongs to Garrod Hegarty. A replacement has just arrived for him as Austin Gleeson stands over this long-range free, and it's crept just inside that post and over the bar. Well, we've seen so little of Austin Gleeson in open play, but he announces his arrival in style.
Again, like Burns, range no problem, and that win just crept inside the post. Great free by Austin Gleeson.
That's 2 in a row for Waterford. Lead out to 4. Garrod Hegarty, always in the thick of the action. This time he wins the free.
And an ironic cheer from the Limerick crowd.
Well, he's 6'5", just over 15 stone. Very imposing figure, and so important now with Cian Lynch off the field.
A huge player for Limerick, and you know he's actually on a yellow card, so you know Waterford trying to get at him here and you know talk to him a bit after the overcarrying previously. But watch again, he's just so powerful and so strong, and you know Prunty just does foul him, no doubt.
Aaron Gillan taking great care over this free. Strong breeze blowing right into his face. Never any doubts. 2 for him, 7 for Limerick.
Yeah, nicely struck, but you know you haven't seen Gillan in it really. Graham Mulcahy, when we have seen him, it's been winning the ball out around the middle of the field, you know, so you know Limerick will want more ball in around there.
Sean O'Brien from De La Salle sent the signal, then delivered the Schlitter. Breaks on the edge of the D. Mikey Kiley first to react, barrels into O'Donovan. Free out. Sean Stack felt it was an illegal hand pass again. That's the second time a free's been given for that.
Yeah, one on each side. You'll see it again here. You know, he turns around, and there's, look at the power of Kiley. He does absolutely bury Darragh O'Donovan, but you know, hard to assess that hand pass based on the picture there. But Sean Stack has been consistent.
Just 2 points from play so far from the All-Ireland champions. Looking to make it 3. It's just inside that post and over the bar, and Aaron Gillan salutes the quality of the pass. Limerick back to within 2 again.
Yeah, well judged by Gillan. He threw it off towards the left-hand post, knowing that the wind would ease it back in for him. Beautiful play.
Limerick press high, Waterford go long. Breaks off the hand of Patrick Curran. Caleb Lyons felt he was fouled. Nothing doing. Limerick play the whistle. Dan Morrissey to his brother Tom. Over towards Gillan again, the go-to man in that full forward line, and that was an important interception by Conor Gleeson, who came from nowhere to knock that ball out of play.
Yeah, and Iarla Daly had committed himself, and I just don't think he's right on that ankle. You know, and if Gillan had been able to turn there, you'll watch out. Daly comes to win the ball, and he's just not right at all on the ankle, and I think he's actually made it even worse. I think he'll have to go off here, but it was a chance for Waterford to leave him on actually in that position, on a one-on-one with Gillan when he was carrying injury. Really, they probably should have made that change.
Well, what a shame that Iarla Daly's evening is over. After 27 minutes, he tried his best to play on after injuring that left ankle, but as Nicky said, he may well have made it worse in that last passage of play. A lot of activity on the Waterford bench. They're trying to scramble a sub. Ball thrown in, game restarts. Darragh O'Donovan peeling away inside is Cathal O'Neill. The angle is really tight. O'Neill makes light of it and flashes over his second of the evening.
Yeah, that do Cathal O'Neill a lot of good. You know, he had been a bit, after scoring the first point, he had been a bit jumpy in play since, but that's a great point for him.
So Tom Barron, brother of Jamie, joins the action. The 4 Mile Water clubman is in at a time when the league champions have seen their lead reduced to just a puck of the ball. The clash of the ash rings around the Gaelic grounds, and the ball is popped back to Hannon. Hegarty drifts into that little pocket of space. He was hidden in plain sight. Hegarty, his effort blocked by Fagan, and Shane McNulty picked up the pieces and won the free. Well, it feels like a Munster Championship match, and it looks like one too.
I'm 100% sure if you're out in the pitch, it would certainly feel like a Munster Championship match, or as good a Championship match as you'll ever be in. Watch, there's not a second. Jack Fagan does very well to get back and get the block on Hegarty.
Well, it was billed in advance as a clash between the two best teams in the country. And so far, Waterford just shading it. Austin Gleeson's free, drills it towards Hutchinson. Haven't seen much of the Waterford corner forward so far. Will O'Donovan. Up through the centre. There was a tug on a jersey. I think it may have belonged to Shane McNulty. And
yeah.
I think Conor Boylan may be the guilty party.
Yeah, but again, it just reinforces the point. If you miss your touch, as Conor Boylan did there from the pass, wasn't able to get possession cleanly, then you're swallowed up straight away and likely to lose possession, and in his case then have to concede a free.
Well, 11 points, the winning margin for Limerick in the last two matches, two championship matches between these teams. That was where Waterford were starting from coming in, as Stephen Bennett drives that free away to the left. 3 wides for Waterford. 5 minutes to the break.
Yeah, Waterford just need a score. They need to settle a bit and build up a bit of a lead before half-time, because that's a very strong breeze behind them.
Just look where Stephen Bennett is, back helping out in defence. It's that sort of a game. Boylan again does very well in a tight corner to lift that ball. But it's another free, and there's a Limerick man, Dara O'Donovan, gone to ground, and we'll take a look at how exactly he got there, just in the background of where Sean Stack had awarded the free.
Yeah, well, it was Conor Prunty that pushed him off the ball there, and the free was awarded for another throw, basically. Again, I don't think there's a whole lot to that, and Dara O'Donovan's going to be all right.
So Dara O'Donovan is being treated. Sean Stack not happy to let the game restart just yet, not until the Limerick midfielder has been pass fit. He was pushed over by Prunty, but as Nicky has just said, the initial free for the third illegal hand pass of the first half.
Yeah, and I think that was actually the clearest one. There's the push. I think it was in his chest.
So Stephen Bennett goes back into his own half to strike this free, and the breeze has caught it again and dragged it away to the left. 2 wides in a row for Bennett.
I know, but like, it's clear of Stephen Bennett's experience. I mean, he knows the wind is coming hard across there from right to left. You know, he should be missing on the other side if he's going to.
Nicky Quaid has got the puck out away, runs through to Graham Mulcahy. Popped in front of Gillan again, just the way he likes it. Gillan has it. Boylan makes a decoy run, and Gillan takes the point. Limerick at their free-flowing best, and Gillan at the spearhead of the attack. Teams level for just a second time.
Yeah, what a point by Gillan. But like, he was looking for the ball. He fancies it in there. Tom Barron is a very inexperienced player, and Gillan one-on-one and him is capable of doing damage.
Well, Waterford ahead by 5 points midway through this first half. Limerick have pegged them back to draw level. Big collision again. Dan Morrissey and Calum Lyons, 2 of the biggest units out there. Both men bounce back, bounce away. Line ball to Waterford.
Yeah, you can see the excitement and intensity in the crowd. Everyone built up, and it was actually Graham Mulcahy that got back there. You know, that Morrissey gets it out, but it was Graham Mulcahy that got back to actually get the hook on Calum Lyons. Mulcahy putting in a lot of work.
Sideline cut from Austin Gleeson. Oh, he's got it. What a score from Gleeson. Always good for one. And he treats us to a masterclass with that sideline cut to put Waterford ahead again.
Unbelievable from sideline ball.
Limerick have hit 7 of the last 10 points in the match in the last 15 minutes. The All-Ireland champions are into the rhythm, they're into the groove, and they're level again. Garrod Hegarty.
That's one of the scores of the game, because the ball is, you know, this is a spring pitch, it's not a summer pitch, so it's hard to have a great touch, and Hegarty's touch was unbelievable there.
Puck out finds Gleeson. Well, the heavyweights, the championship heavyweights, have come to play. Gleeson at one end, Hegarty at the other, Waterford ahead.
And you see what John Kiley thinks of that. He's not happy with Diarmuid Byrne's. Gleeson was wide open there for that puck out.
What a first half we've been treated to here. Crowd of around 30,000 people on the edge of their seats. The winner will have 1 foot in a Munster final, 1 foot in the All-Ireland series, but there's so much more at stake as well.
Yeah, you know, this is a silly foul from Darragh O'Donovan really there on Conor Gleeson. They really had him bottled up, and watch when I think it's Darragh O'Donovan just comes in. There's no need at all to take him out there in that instance. They really had him. He was over carrying at that stage.
So the 2016 Hurler of the Year, Austin Gleeson, composed himself. He's just inside his own 65, but he's got that stiff breeze behind him. And Austin Gleeson is up and running. 4 points for him, and Waterford double their advantage.
Yeah, and he's in great form this year, Austin Gleeson. Just an unbelievable player. You couldn't imagine that they could start today without him. He had to be playing. If they want to be winning this game, Waterford have to start him.
We'll have at least 3 minutes of additional time as Aaron Gillan goes looking for another spectacular score. 5 for him, and the teams get closer once more as injury time begins to tick down.
Yeah, and it's opened up a little bit. You know, there's a little bit more room, and there's more scoring chances presenting for both sides.
Shadows starting to lengthen as Patrick Curran races through onto that loose ball, but Declan Hannon uses all his experience. The all-star number 6, Darragh O'Donovan. He's got Mikey Kiley in hot pursuit. Sean Finn waits, and instead it's Casey to Hannon, the man who conducts the orchestra from centre back. Gillan is his target once more, runs over him, but Gillan was being held, and Sean Stack has spotted it, and the Waterford full back line have got their hands full with Aaron Gillan.
Yeah, Gillan is causing trouble in there, and they've moved Tom Barron off him and put Conor Gleeson onto him since the last ball that went in there. But again, you know, Conor Gleeson just fouls him. You know, he's holding him off there, and probably no need to do it. The goalie, Sean O'Brien, has the ball covered at the stage the foul happens.
Well, 3 different Waterford markers have now had a go at trying to tie down Aaron Gillan. Iarla Daly and Tom Barron, and now Gleeson, as Gillan levels the match for the 4th time. They could not be any closer.
No, it's as we expected. It's a fantastic game, and you know, Gillan has grown in confidence. Those couple of balls that he drifted in over the bar from left to right really have upped his confidence levels.
Shane McNulty this time was the out ball for O'Brien. Ball runs all the way through, missed by Casey. Gleeson was in after it. Heavy collision, and Austin Gleeson still on the flat of his back. Mike Casey breathed a massive sigh of relief there. A fresh air puck initially, but recovered his composure just in time to save the day. Yeah,
I thought it was going to be a great chance for Austin Gleeson. In fairness to, was it Casey or Finn came back? It was Casey actually came back and just got in the way of it. But yeah, it was a massive collision, but it was just Casey did well to get back in position.
So we're into the 3rd and final minute of additional time. 20 minutes ago, Waterford led 8 points to 3 and looked to have Limerick where they wanted them. But the reigning Munster and All-Ireland champions are made of tough stuff, and Aaron Gillan is having one of those nights. 7 points and counting for the man from Patrick's Well. And the champions hit the front on the cusp of half-time.
And 3 from playing, that's been, and 3 really good ones, but that was the best of them. That was an outstanding score.
3 in a row for Limerick, 3 in a row for Gillan. Yeah, Austin Gleeson down again. He's been in the wars a bit in the last few minutes.
Yeah, you can hear the Limerick crowd getting excited. They're much happier with the finish of the first half than the start of it, as they're starting to get a grip all over the place.
Well, there goes the half-time whistle. A first half jam-packed with talking points and turning points. hurler of the year, Cian Lynch, limping off after only 9 minutes with what looked like a hamstring injury. His evening ending prematurely. But in his absence, the All-Ireland champions have weathered the early Waterford storm. And right now, it's balanced on a knife edge. At half-time, it's Limerick 14 points, Waterford 13 points. We'll be back. Thanks, Grania. Welcome back. Limerick returned to the field to an almighty roar from the home support. We're hearing at half-time, by the way, a crowd of just over 27,000 people here at the TUS Gaelic grounds for this Munster round-robin championship game. There's John Kiley. He's never lost a championship game to Waterford. 5 matches, 5 victories. And there's Cian Lynch, who saw his evening end early with a hamstring problem. Who knows how long he'll be out for. No changes on either side. Sean Stack, the referee, throws the Schlitter in. Limerick will have the win behind them in the second half. Win their sails as well after the way they finished the opening half. And of all the stats, Nicky, we were flicking through at half-time, only 1 point from play from the Waterford forwards jumped out for you.
Yeah, testament to the Limerick backs. The Limerick backs are, you know, they don't get the credit they deserve. They're unbelievable. Finn, those guys, their block, and Barry Nash has improved unbelievably. And just as Jamesy and JJ were talking about at half-time, Liam Cahill has decided to put Prunty back full back to the edge of the square to pick up Gillan. So a key positional switch, no changes in personnel, but Prunty gone back full back to pick up and try to limit the damage that Gillan is doing.
Well, Limerick laying down an early marker already. Garrod Hegarty fouled. A Waterford player spoke out of turn. Schlitter moved forward by Sean Stack, and all of a sudden Aaron Gillan has a much more straightforward opportunity. 7 points in the first half, 4 from frees, 3 from play, and you can make that 8 points.
Yeah, and you can hear just the strike of the ball up here, the purity of the strike, beautiful strike.
Schlitter hanging in the air there into the wind, sat up nicely for Dan Morrissey from Ahan into Will O'Donoghue, and he moves it on swiftly as well. Barry Nash, first chance for him to stretch his legs in this second half. Out to Cathal O'Neill, took a moment just to gather his thoughts, shoots from out on the right-hand side. But that's a way for a third Limerick miss.
Yeah, a couple of wides from Cathal O'Neill. He's getting on the ball, and you know he will improve because he's a beautiful player, just to get a bit more experience. But when Waterford are forced to go along with the ball, and watch Sean O'Brien will go down the throats of the Limerick half-back line, this is where they're very hard to beat.
Dan Morrissey under it, jumping with Stephen Bennett. Patrick Curran trying to get onto the break, but Morrissey read it well.
You know, that Limerick half-back line, aided by O'Donoghue pushing back in on top of them. They're huge men, and when you go long and the puck out against the wind, when Limerick have the wind behind them, they just eat up every puck out that comes to them.
Well, he turned 29 last Wednesday, Dan Morrissey. He's had a good game. Sean Finn under pressure here, and he's conceded the 65. I have to say, Michael Kiley did really well to get something from nothing there.
Yeah, Sean Finn is very, very strong. You know what I mean? Once he gets over the ball, he normally wins. But Kiley is just unbelievably powerful, and he can move any player, but just easing him out of the way.
Liam Cahill still chasing his first championship win as Waterford manager over Limerick. This the 4th attempt this evening. And he's watching Stephen Bennett try to do his thing from the 65. Well, the roar of the Limerick crowd down at the city end will tell you that did not go to plan for Stephen Bennett. 5 wides for Waterford.
Yeah, and 3 frees missed by Stephen Bennett is unusual for him, and that was the poorest of them.
Waterford produced such a stunning third quarter against Tipperary last Sunday. No sign of it just yet, though. Garrod Hegarty just eats up the ground, makes an angle, and a touch of class from Garrod Hegarty.
Yeah, Waterford need to stay in this. They need to start winning the puck out. If they can get the ball over the Limerick half-back line, you know, then Desi Hutchinson, with against the breeze, the ball might land up in front of him and he might get on more ball than he has been. He hasn't been really involved at all for Waterford.
The green machine clicking into gear at the start of this second half. Burns to O'Donoghue. Oh, lovely skill to wrong foot Jack Prendergast, and picks out the pass to O'Neill. Total hurling from Limerick, but unfortunately Cathal O'Neill unable to apply the finish. It would have been some score.
Yeah, Cathal O'Neill is just, you know, he's lost confidence now, and he's not the person that Limerick wants shooting at the goals.
Well, Limerick have hit 4 wides and Cathal has hit 3 of them. Just to underline Nicky's point, as Declan Hannon, Lord of the Manor at centre-back, is fouled by Patrick Curran.
Yeah, again, like Patrick Curran, this is where the Waterford half-forward line, they need to step up now. These long puck-outs, you have to either break the ball down. You can't afford to let Limerick dominate the half-back line. And they've done this invariably when they get the win behind them. We saw in the Munster final against Tip last year, they were 10 or 12 points playing against the wind. And the next thing, when we got the win behind them, the half-back line totally obliterated the very forward line, and everything moves forward from there. Momentum is always on, they're always on the front foot.
So Diarmuid Burns standing over this free. Well, it had yards and yards and feet to spare. 5 points for Diarmuid Burns, each one better than the last, and Limerick go 4 clear.
Yeah, and this is a critical period of the time now for Waterford. They just need to get on the ball and start to turn this tide some way.
Waterford against the wind, under the cosh. Limerick's half-back line, that green wall has been rebuilt after a shaky start. Conor Gleeson this time out in front. Darragh Lyons releases Tadhg de Burka. Calum Lyons tries to return the compliment. Somehow got the ball back to de Burka's hand again, and he was being fouled. Well, they are what you'd call hard yards that Tadhg de Burka had to make there.
Yeah, very, very hard. You know, you've Lyons trying to make a yard, then it's Tadhg de Burka, but look who's back tackling him. It's Gillan and Morrissey, you know. So we see that the tackle count for Limerick in the first half, they out-tackled, out-hooked, out-blocked 38-26. They're All-Ireland champions for the last 2 years. That's the first thing to go, is hunger, but they have it in spades.
Stephen Bennett needs this, and Waterford need it, and Bennett gets it. He's up to 6 points now after a few misses. Just gets that scoreboard moving again. Nicky Quaid hasn't missed a championship match for some 4 years, believe it or not, the Limerick goalkeeper. As Cathal O'Neill tries to get onto this ball, pursued by Darragh Lyons. Uses Sean O'Brien. Just took an extra second there to make sure. Declan Hannon, what a game he's had. Ball breaks to Austin Gleeson. Waterford need him now to step up again. Gleeson driving up along this right-hand side. The dummy hand pass, sidesteps Nash, balances it, pops it across, but just on a different page to Desi Hutchinson and Mikey Kiley. Hutchinson has to go back to gather. Nice 1-2 with Lyons. Hutchinson again. And that's his 2nd point. So sharp, razor sharp.
Yeah, they need him on the ball. Waterford did well to get something out of that. Austin Gleeson, you know, he did very, very well, gave the dummy hand pass, and actually had all the time Patrick Curran inside him, but he went for the spectacular, which would have been great if it came off, but they did well to...
Gearóid Hegarty scrapes the skies here in Limerick. Free out for Overcarry. He's furious. The Limerick crowd are furious, and Waterford celebrate that little win.
I know Gearóid Hegarty, this is his 2nd time being caught for Overcarry. An unbelievable catch. You know, I find it hard to see how you give it for Overcarrying, but you know, that's the 2nd time, and Gearóid Hegarty probably has brought that attention on himself from referees over the years.
Well, as that free was being taken, I could see John Kiley telling the Limerick full forward line to get in close to goal. Down at the other end, it's Desi Hutchinson. Well, I heard him described during the week by Tommy Welsh as a genius of an inside forward, and he's just hit his 3rd point of the evening.
Yeah, that's a very good recovery from Waterford. You know, the gap had gone out to 4 and it looked dominant for them, but they've just sneaked their way back into it.
Just one between them. Cathal O'Neill out through the back door to Will O'Donoghue. Had to shoot instinctively there as Calum Lyons came across to shut him down. And that's away to the left and wide of the target. Calum Lyons has made a lung-bursting run across the field to make himself available, but look who tracked him. Will O'Donoghue with him every step of the way. Gleeson, nice ball to pick out Patrick Curran. Hutchinson is buzzing around that forward line. He is red hot. And Desi Hutchinson has just hit 3 points in a row, and we're right back to square one, level again.
And much like Galan in the first half, he just left it off up towards the left post and let the wind bring it in. Very good play by Waterford.
4 points on the bounce for Waterford. Deadlock for the 5th time. Poor ball out by Prunty. Galan couldn't make it stick. Man trying to come out with it is Tom Barron, but Conor Boylan is in his road. Ball recycled, back to Galan. Ice cool, lethal finish. Limerick lead again. They're going score for score.
Yeah, the number 13s are putting on an exhibition on both sides here. Galan is just on fire tonight. But great work by Conor Boylan to hold up the ball. Tom Barron did very well initially for Waterford, but Boylan hit him and dispossessed him.
Well, nobody wants to give an inch. Boylan threw his body across in front of McNulty. Acrobatically emerges with the ball. Whatever it takes seems to be the mantra this evening for Limerick and Waterford. Loose man on this near side was Tom Morrissey, not loose for long. That hand pass didn't look great, and Sean Stack calls it up for a foul pass. Another free, this time goes Waterford's way.
Yeah, and you don't see a complaint from John Kiley beside him or Paul Kinnerk behind him, and that's Tom Morrissey's second time being done for. You know, he should have learned after the first hand pass. That was poor play from him.
But John Kiley, every chance he gets, is demanding that Graham Mulcahy move closer to Aaron Galan and support him inside.
Yeah, rightly so, because that ball had to be recycled to Tom Morrissey in the first place, because Hannon had nobody in there to hit it.
Austin Gleeson from well inside his own 65. Well, that is some score. 5 for Gleeson, and that one was right over the black spot.
Yeah, beautiful. Just again, the wind helping him and judge it perfectly. Easily.
Level pegging. Hegarty races over the right wing, but just a bit too much pace on that ball when it hit the surface.
Yeah, and he's picked up, since Prunty went back full back, Jack Fagan is picking up Hegarty, and you know, he's a good physical match for Hegarty. Hegarty is a huge man, but Jack Fagan very physically strong himself, and very alike himself and Caleb Lyons, actually very easily to mix up number 5 and number 9. They're very similar physique.
Dan Morrissey marking Austin Gleeson, and they rise together. Dara O'Donovan across to hoover up the break. Nice ball into Galan. Makes an angle over his shoulder. He was looking for a trademark score. Instead, notches up Limerick's 6th wide. Beautiful
ball from Dara O'Donovan to find him in the first place. But in fairness to Prunty, he moved him out, and it wasn't easy for Galan to swing it over the bar.
Everything being done at speed here. Patrick Curran to Austin Gleeson. He goes for goal! Blocked by Quaid or Finn. One of them got a hurley to it. Finn takes it clear. Well, they don't produce too many goals in championship matches between them, but Austin Gleeson almost delivered a wonder strike. Blocked on the line.
I think it was Finn in front, was it? I mean, just it was destined for the top corner. Great strike and brilliant play by the Limerick defence.
I think you're right, Nicky. Nicky Quaid will probably say he had it covered, but Finn wasn't taking any chances.
Great effort by Gleeson. You know, he knew what he was doing. He was trying to ease it into the top corner of the net, and he's been very impressive all through, Austin Gleeson, here tonight. And you know, he really is the most dangerous player. Himself and Hutchinson they've improved since half-time, and you know, Waterford have a bit more danger in them.
Well, a fascinating stat during the week. Waterford, they've now gone 4.5 championship matches since they last scored a goal against Limerick. Find it very difficult to break down that well-oiled machine that is the Limerick back line. The forward line aren't bad either. Tom Morrissey with his first, and that was worth waiting for.
Yeah, Tom Morrissey, you know, it took him a while to warm up against Cork, and tonight, you know, he's been caught for a couple of hand passes. He hasn't been as influential as he has been in the last couple of years, but that's a great point.
McNulty again dispatches the sliotar down to Desi Hutchinson. He's on a hot streak. They're looking for him every time. And Sean Finn, for once, is struggling to come up with the answers. Hutchinson with his 5th point from play, his 4th since half-time.
And you see, when Waterford are playing into the wind, the ball is hopping in front of Desi Hutchinson. He can come out, make that run, and even Sean Finn struggling with him.
Jack Fagan from De La Salle to Patrick Curran from Dungarvan. He's beaten Burns for pace off his left-hand side, and Waterford lead in the 49th minute, Patrick Curran opens his account.
Waterford had huge reserves of energy during the league in the league semi-final, the league final against Cork, and it'll be interesting now. They really are running hard at Limerick, and it'll be interesting to see what Limerick can pull.
Tom Morrissey couldn't make contact. It was a last gasp challenge from Tom Barron, and Sean Stack's given the free.
I think Tom Barron did very, very well to get the hook on Morrissey, but I just wonder what else happened in the meantime.
Well, there was a massive intake of breath as Tom Morrissey swung his hurley there.
It was an unbelievable hook, but I suppose in the follow-through he probably knocked him, and that's what the free was being given for. But that was a brilliant hook by Tom Barron.
Waterford are getting ready to spring that man, Jamie Barron. So Jamie Barron will be coming in, and out comes Darragh Lyons as Aaron Gillan stands over this free and levels the match again. They've shared 40 points between them evenly. Aaron Gillan has hit 10 of Limerick's tally. So Jamie Barron, who made such a big impact off the bench against Tip, is in for the last 20 minutes. Austin Gleeson, of course, started. So Liam Cahill has played a few of his big cards at this stage.
Yeah, Barron had a big influence against Tipperary when he came on last week, got a couple of points very, very quickly.
Over the head of Diarmuid Burns and Stephen Bennett, mopped up by Barry Nash. Loose man is Cathal O'Neill. He could have played the pass, he's taken on the shot, and this time Cathal O'Neill has hit the target. Well, he's missed a few, he scored 3, and that was the pick of the bunch.
Well, in fairness to him, it hasn't taken any of his courage away anyway. That was probably the hardest chance he went for, and in fairness to him, got a great score.
So now John Kiley's turn to bring in some fresh legs. David Reedy has joined the Limerick attack, and Conor Boylan has played his part, ran himself into the ground.
Yeah, and worked very, very hard, and you know, dislodged plenty of possession in the period he was there.
So it's advantage Limerick again, but only just. Great take by Stephen Bennett, but crashes into a Limerick defender when he landed. Hurley goes flying through the air. Gleeson, Calum Lyons. Sean Stack is going to bring it back for a tug on a jersey. No advantage. Well, nobody standing back and admiring anybody else, that's for sure.
Yeah, great catch initially by Stephen Bennett, and then when he was bottled up himself, he passed it off, and Gleeson, you know, the power of Gleeson was able to hold up the ball and run into the Limerick lads. And Morrissey, I suppose his challenge was high, but in fairness, he left go to Hurley.
Neil Montgomery warming up along the sideline at the moment as Stephen Bennett draws that in. It started a little to the right, but it came in nicely. 7 for him. Level again here in Limerick. Measured puck out from the home side. Dan Morrissey, the diagonal delivery. Limerick are so good at that sort of pass, and it sets David Reedy on his way, and Reedy cuts through. Only on the field a matter of minutes and already making an impact.
Yeah, and came from the short puck out. Waterford conceded that one. They moved it up to Will O'Donoghue. Nice ball across, and Reedy is able to take on the ball, break the tackle, and get into space and score the point. And you know, Waterford really, they still need to keep forcing Limerick to go along with those puck outs. They can't lose concentration.
Declan Hannon, what a take, such a strong left hand. Waterford pleading, he threw the ball. Cathal O'Neill, well, his confidence high after that last effort, shoots wide, and John Kiley just imploring him to deliver it into the full forward line instead.
Yeah, he was too close to John Kiley hitting that one.
Ball bounces off the knee of Austin Gleeson right into the hand of Darragh O'Donovan. Ball moved on quickly from O'Neill to Tom Morrissey. Well, he cut the cloth to measure beautifully.
Yeah, a couple of good points now by Morrissey, and Colin O'Neill is a quick learner. He probably had a chance to shoot himself, but he wasn't going to take that chance in front of John Kiley and passed it on.
Well, some of the score making and score taking has been as good as you'll get anywhere. Every chance these teams could meet again in a Munster final or an All-Ireland final. This could turn out to be the first in a trilogy. So far, it's lived up to the hype. David Reedy and Shane McNulty wrestling on the ground as Gillan spins Prunty. Prunty chasing Gillan. This is a big chance for Mulcahy. Just lost his footing. And back come the Waterford cavalry to clear it away from danger. Free in for overcarrying. Well, Waterford would surely have thought they'd done the hard part. And it's Tom Barron who's been whistled up, but the ball just caught by Mulcahy and then he stumbled.
Yeah, it was a brilliant work by Milan, and you know, Graham Mulcahy missed probably a great chance against Cork last week. He's working very, very hard, but he's not just as clinical a finisher as he was in his heyday, and that was a fantastic chance.
Well, he's on 10 championship goals, Graham Mulcahy. That was a great chance to make it 11. Sean Stack grabbing a quick word with David Reedy and Shane McNulty. They were the two players who were wrestling on the ground, yeah. So Aaron Gillan, in the blink of an eye, pushes Limerick 3 ahead again. They're playing in these little purple patches. They've just rattled off 3 in a row, and in fact they've scored 5 of the last 6 points now again, Limerick.
Yeah, they've again taken control in their half-back line. Their defence has tightened up, and they're using the ball well.
Pat Ryan from Doon is getting ready. Aaron Gillan. He's the moving target in that Limerick attack. Gillan! Spectacular from Aaron Gillan. The two-time All-Star with his 12th point of an extraordinary evening.
Yeah, and again, Waterford need to get pressure on the likes of Darragh Donovan. You know, that was a super ball in. Prunty has no chance. Ball in front of Gillan. He's going to come out and take it every time.
Shane McNulty feels he has to take on the shot, but he's forced it and he's rushed it. Scored twice against Tip last weekend, but off target here.
Exactly, yeah, for sure. And Desi Hutchinson is given out to him. Desi Hutchinson had made a great run up on the right-hand side here, and McNulty really should have left that up in front of Desi Hutchinson, much like the previous one where Darragh Donovan had given it in a beautiful ball in front of Milan. And we see Graham Mulcahy coming off, John Kiley congratulating him, and Pat Ryan coming in to see what he can do.
Well, Graham Mulcahy has put in some shift in that full forward line. Hegarty is the target, like a pylon over on that right wing. David Reedy, so quick on his feet. Cathal O'Neill hooked as he tried to pull the trigger. Tadhg de Bourke trying to lift the siege, trying to get Waterford going again.
Tadhg de Bourke is a huge player for Waterford. We haven't seen him really that much in the game tonight.
Now they're going for Hutchinson's corner. He made a searing run right across the goal there. Meat in a Limerick sandwich, no free. Kiley runs down a blind alley, and Limerick get the free. Well, they are the turnover kings. They're so good at this, and they just did it again.
Yeah, watch the pressure on the ball. First on Hutchinson and then on Kiley. They're just all around him, and it's just very hard to beat that defence. I'd hate to be in there trying to create space and have Sean Finn and those guys around you. They just are fantastic defenders, and they love defending. They love to keep a clean sheet, and Waterford are under huge pressure to win any ball up there.
John Kiley said after the win over Cork, his team had their energy back. Well, they've brought it into this game. Waterford now trying to lift it again. Still plenty of time. Jack Prendergast looking to get into this game and make something happen. Over Hutchinson's head, though, he'd ran towards the ball. Prendergast turns away, disappointed. Poor wide.
It was poor from Prendergast, because, you know, if he was going, he could have taken on the shot, really. He chose to get the pass to Hutchinson, completely overhit it.
Another testing ball. Gillan just slightly overran it. Scraped his fingernails on its way by. Away by Prunty, the Waterford captain. Out to Jamie Barron, trying to get those legs pumping and break the line. Foul by Jeremy Burns. But everybody just gets a chance to draw breath for a moment.
Yeah, I think he's going to give the free against Hegarty. He just a judge that he move down with the hurley or hit down with the hurley, and that's what dislodged the ball from Barron. But again, Waterford, they've fallen 4 behind. They've just not been able to get enough possession very recently. I thought maybe 10, 12, 15 minutes ago their energy was better, but it's drifted away in them a bit, and you know, these wides don't help.
Wide number 8 clocked up by Austin Gleeson. Liam Cahill pondering his next move. The National League champions now at a crossroads in this game with 10.5 minutes of normal time to play. Tom Morrissey emerges from the wreckage with that ball, fires it back to Darragh O'Donovan, and O'Donovan, he likes it. The Limerick crowd like it, and why wouldn't they? His first point comes on the hour mark.
Yeah, but he's hit a lot of very, very good ball into the forwards. Darragh's been doing his job very efficiently and very nicely. Thought maybe Tom Morrissey was lucky to get away with that hand pass as well.
That's his 19th point in the championship. He may be about to make it 20, and he has. Well, he doesn't score very often, and then he goes and hits 2 in a minute.
2 beautiful scores just off his left-hand side, and this is getting worrying now for Waterford. They really need to just up the ante here, try to start dominating, start to win their own puck out, you know, take on Limerick. They've just stepped off the pace here, and they're giving too much space to Limerick, and we saw what happened to Cork last week. If you do that, you cannot do it.
Well, it's been shock and awe from Limerick. 6 points without reply in the last 7 minutes, and they've come from here, there and everywhere, all angles.
And Waterford lucky that Graham Mulcahy didn't score a goal as well.
Teams were deadlocked just a little over 8 minutes ago, but the All-Ireland champions have upped the ante, the pace, the tempo, and Waterford right now hanging on for dear life.
Yeah, and Cathal O'Neill doing well. One of the questions we had about Limerick was the depth of their panel, and it's really been tested now, because you have Casey out long term, Flanagan got injured, now Kyle Hayes, now Cian Lynch, but Cathal O'Neill, I know he's hit a few wides, but he's got on a huge amount of possessions. I think he's on 10 possessions, and you know, for young fella coming in his first championship, that'll be very encouraging for John Kiley, that the depth of the panel is backing the thing up.
No Waterford score now for 10 minutes as Limerick have made hay down at the other end. The players will see the stewards moving into their end of match positions. They'll know the end is in sight as Aaron Gillan knocks over his 13th point of the night.
Yeah, and in contrast to the last 3 by Gleeson and some of the misses by Bennett, you know, Gillan has been absolutely perfect.
Tadhg de Burka being chased by a pack of Limerick forwards. Shane McNulty, Hutchinson moving in underneath it. Patrick Curran trying to keep it alive. Hannon making a nuisance of himself. Fierce scrap for possession. Haven't seen too many of these rucks. Somehow Mikey Kiley hangs on. And Kiley, who won a Fitzgibbon with UL earlier this year, he'll know plenty of these Limerick lads. Wins his free, and he earned it.
Yeah, I've been impressed with Mikey Kiley all night. He's really worked very, very hard, and he has the requisite power to match up with any of the Limerick lads.
Now Stephen Bennett, does he take his point? He goes for goal, and it's in! Stephen Bennett, Waterford, who hadn't scored a championship goal against Limerick for 4 years, finally hit the back of the net, and it's Stephen Bennett, and the game is back on.
He had to go for it, and he hit it quite well. A bit of topspin and goes in at Sean Finn or Mike Nash, that side.
It just snuck in at that far post, and now we're in for some last 7, 8, maybe more minutes. Jack Prendergast across towards Jamie Barron. Austin Gleeson instead is the man who gets it under control and drives on. He's got Diarmuid Byrne chasing after him. They're joined at the hip, and eventually the whistle sounds, and it's Diarmuid Burns who gets the free. Austin Gleeson may have played the ball, caught the ball 3 times, and Sean Stack just sending that signal to him. But what a foot race that was.
Yeah, and Gleeson is, you know, he's quick, but like Burns matched him, you know, stride for stride, and just show you the work ethic of the Limerick team. It just comes naturally to them. Gleeson, you know, he's been He's one of the best players Waterford had. If he could get away there and get the ball in front of Hutchinson, you know, he could cause trouble, and Burns really tracked him every step of the way.
Well, it had been hours and hours since a Waterford player scored a goal against Limerick in the championship, and that strike from Stephen Bennett has electrified the atmosphere again. Jim Burns drops this in towards Pat Ryan. The race is on for the break. Waterford will have a free out. Tadhg de Burka it was who put his body on the line.
Yeah, and again, Tadhg just not as dominant as he normally is.
Stephen Bennett jumping with Sean Finn. Oh, lovely ball. Caleb Lyons didn't need to break stride. Waterford could be in again. It's Prendergast! Jack Prendergast with a second Waterford goal. And the Desha are back in business.
This is a brilliant game. What a turnaround. You know, Waterford looked dead and buried there at 7 points down, but now they're again running at him. Prendergast, a brilliant finish. They had 4-on-1 for a finish. Caleb Lyons, it all came from the middle of the field, and a brilliant finish. Lyons does the right thing, picks out Prendergast, and beautiful finish to the ground.
Well, Waterford were 7 points down just a few minutes ago. Just look at the scoreline now. Jack Prendergast from Lismore scored a goal on his league debut. Scores the biggest goal of his career so far here in Limerick to rock the All-Ireland champions. Shane McNulty backs himself to land the equaliser. Just wide. The umpire took all the time he needed. Wide number 9 for Waterford.
Yeah, that's been Shane's second go at it. Closer that time, no doubt. But plenty of time here. You know, 65 minutes gone. Surely 8, 9, maybe even 9 minutes to go anyway, and plenty of hurling to be played, Jay.
Pat Ryan races out onto this ball. What a contest these two teams have served up. The only question left to be answered now is, will we have a winner? Very tight to the line. In front of us there is Tom Barron. Liam Cahill is getting ready to introduce Neil Montgomery for Patrick Curran, but it won't happen just yet.
Yeah, and this is where Waterford, you know, they have plenty of subs, they have plenty of players, they have plenty of depth, so Liam is doing the right thing, bring on plenty of subs and bring on new energy here.
Remember, it's 11 years since Waterford last beat Limerick in the championship. That substitution has been made. Neil Montgomery is in. The wing forward from Abbey's side in to try and help tip the scales. Short sideline cut. One midfielder to another. O'Donovan to O'Donoghue. But the shot was poor.
Yeah, and Waterford just look to be more on their toes just now. This game ebbing and flowing, different periods of momentum, and just Waterford just have the upper hand this minute.
Well, those two quick-fire goals from Stephen Bennett and Jack Prendergast have changed the complexion of things completely. Darragh O'Donovan into Pat Ryan. Doesn't stick. Across comes Conor Prunty. The experienced Waterford fullback decides to feed it off short to Neil Montgomery. Waterford trying to get that hard-running game going, but forced down a cul-de-sac by Limerick. Declan Hannon took his eye off the ball, recovers his composure. There's a loose man outside. It's David Reedy, and another on the overlap. Pat Ryan. Limerick probably wouldn't want anybody else in that position. He's a proven finisher, and Pat Ryan fires it up and over the bar.
Yeah, they worked it well. Neil Montgomery really went into a cul-de-sac among 4 or 5 Limerick players, and you just can't bring it into traffic.
19-year-old Cormac Daly in for the last few minutes. Tadhg de Burka, the player who's replaced, so a strategic change for the last few minutes.
Yeah, I don't know. I wouldn't be surprised if Tadhg de Burka is carrying some bit of an injury, because he just was really struggling a bit for more than normal for him today.
Well, this is what the Munster Championship is all about. Right now, the two best teams in the country racing towards that finish line with so little between them.
Yeah, it's been a fantastic game. Tom Barron is now playing centre-back for Waterford. Cormac Daly is on one side of him and Jack Fagan on the other.
Ball breaks back to Stephen Bennett from Ballysaggart. Nothing on, short or long, had to take the touch and now uses his pace. Austin Gleeson, is this his time. Hand pass intercepted by Hegarty, who returns the Schlitter with interest and kills it stone dead down at that far end of the field. Austin Gleeson, meanwhile, is on the ground. Not quite sure how he got there.
I think it's more exhaustion than anything else.
So we're into the final minute of normal time. Cormac Daly, the fresh legs, the 19-year-old, goes on a run, beats 2 Limerick men, but not the third. That was the stick of Diarmuid Burns that came from nowhere to knock that ball away. Hegarty, what a take. Hegarty goes for the score. Wide again, but the referee is going to bring it back for a free. There was a late challenge, a late foul on Hegarty.
Yeah, just on the catch, Jack Fagan, brilliant catch by Gearóid Hegarty, and you know the crowd looking for sympathy for Gearóid Hegarty, and he's deserving a bit of it here. You know, Jack Fagan he was just late. Hegarty had the ball caught, and Fagan just clipped him on the head. But again, just before that, Cormac Daly brought the play into a load of Limerick lads, and it immediately dispossessed. Watch here is, so you can see he does clip the helmet, no doubt.
Nicky, this game is so frantic, we mightn't get another chance. Who's your central man of the match?
I think really there is only one tonight. Aaron Gillane for me is the central man of the match. He's just been outstanding. His free taking has been unreal. For the first 5-10 minutes wasn't in it, but a succession of Waterford backs he has taken on and arguably beaten them all. Prunty has done best on him, but Gillane has been on fire tonight.
So Aaron Gillane, scorer of 13 points, 6 from play, is Nicky's central man of the match on his 27th championship appearance. So we're into additional time. We'll find out in just a moment how many minutes we'll have. The free to Limerick, the free to Diarmuid Burns. Normal service continues.
Yeah, I don't think Diarmuid Burns has missed a free tonight. He's been absolutely unbelievably accurate.
So Pádraig Mahoney from Ballygunner, great to see him back in championship action again. He's had an horrendous couple of years. He's in. Mikey Kiley, the player who's replaced, and we'll have at least 3 minutes of additional time. So Waterford have about 2 minutes to climb their way back into this game yet again. Great take by Will O'Donoghue. Saw him described in a newspaper this morning as a warlord in that Limerick midfield, and he has certainly played his part. Here's his midfield partner, Dara O'Donovan. He's on a hat-trick of points. Unlucky that one gets away.
Yeah, just he never got it over far enough. The wind was always going to bring it out, turn it out to this side.
Puck out from Sean O'Brien was asking an awful lot of Calum Lyons. Gillane nips in. He's not happy with himself though. Didn't like the way that ball left his hurley. And a rare error of judgment from him tonight.
Yeah, 2 decent chances for Limerick, so just a 3-point lead. They're leaving Waterford in it with a chance. They haven't just buried them yet.
Waterford haven't scored since that Jack Prendergast goal some 7 minutes ago. Since then, Limerick have hit a couple of points to quell the resistance. Pat Ryan was one of the scorers. That shot, though, under pressure, tails wide. A dozen wides for Limerick. They had 17 against Cork last Sunday.
And you know, those couple later ones not their best, but this is a key puck out. Waterford have to win this. Goal is their only option.
Waterford without a white flag, by the way, for 20 minutes. The last 20 minutes have gone by without Waterford registering a single point. Limerick by 3. Well, if they do meet again down the line, nobody will be able to wait for it. Now it searching ball, breaks, could go anywhere. Sean Finn, Hurley swinging. Waterford had it, so had Mike Casey for a moment, and out with it comes Nicky Quaid. Well, there goes the full-time whistle. And catch us if you can is the message from Limerick. The Munster and All-Ireland champions have survived an almighty test of their mettle from Waterford. And they win back-to-back matches in the Munster round-robin series. What a game, what a contest. The Munster Championship alive and well. And John Kiley's team of champions get the job done. just over 27,000 people captivated as Waterford selector Tony Brown shakes the hand of the Limerick manager. A pleasure to be here, Nicky.
Oh, what a brilliant game, absolutely brilliant. You know, and any talk before the match that this might be, you know, the teams mightn't be going full on at this. You know, it's all rubbish really. There's no switching off. You can't switch off form. You can't. You have to go for everything. And you look at John Kiley, the relief on his face there that they hung on tonight. It was a huge game, ebbed and flowed. Waterford had their chances, you know, seemed to be out of it completely then, and then hit back with the goals. But Limerick coming out of it. Some more injury worries, no doubt. Cian Lynch particularly is a huge concern for Limerick, but you know, they are in really good form, and you know, I've no doubt that Waterford and Limerick are going to meet again in the championship, and not much in it, but Limerick really confirming their superiority.
So Waterford's long wait for a championship win over Limerick goes on. 11 years since they last turned the treaty over. The champions back on home ground for a championship match for the first time in 3 years, and they finish in style. It's ended here at the TUS Gaelic grounds. Limerick 30 points, Waterford 221.
Thanks, Mike and Nicky, for that. What an amazing game we have witnessed here in the TUS Gaelic grounds in Limerick. But we're back next weekend with a football doubleheader. Two of the provincial quarter-finals are down for decision in Ulster and Leinster. We are in Clonus to see Monaghan and Down meet, and then it's the turn of the Leinster champions Dublin as they take on the winners of Offaly or Wexford. We're live on air from 4 p.m. But there was 3 points between the sides at the end of full-time there. Limerick 30 points, Waterford 221. And what a great game we have witnessed. Well, we hoped and we were thought maybe this could be the first of 3 games, lads, that we're going to see between these sides over the course of the Munster and All-Ireland series. Fabulous advertisement for hurling, first of all. We knew it was going to be close. It was a brilliant, brilliant game, wasn't it, Ollie?
Yeah, it was fantastic, and fair play to Waterford. I think there was a period in the middle there, maybe from the 50th to the 62nd minute, where Limerick outscored Waterford 9 points to 1, and it just felt like Limerick had taken a stranglehold on the game, and Waterford couldn't get their hands on the ball. But in fairness, I think Liam Cahill will take a lot of value out of this loss if you can do that. They fought to the very end. They did get in for 2 goals at the very death, and you know, they had a long ball into the square. We were kind of looking down. There was a lot of manhandling going on by the full back line there, and we were kind of saying, is it a penalty, is it not? But fair play, brilliant performance from both teams. Limerick still going strong even without 3 or 4 key players. That has to be a worry for other teams out there, but credit to Waterford, they fought to the very end.
Yeah, it was unbelievable. Look, Waterford didn't score a point in the last 20 minutes, and if you were to tell Liam Cahill before the game that you're not going to score in the last 20 minutes of a point, you know, I know they got 2 goals, but didn't raise a white flag last 20 minutes. Liam Cahill said, how much we're going to get bet by? It was only 3 points in the end, like, so a fantastic game. It was just had everything, to be fair, you know what I mean? Look, on a selfish point of view, I hope these teams meet again once, if not twice, so we can see that all over again. An unbelievable game.
Okay, we'll talk about learnings and what maybe Waterford have learned from today's game, but just let's look back at some of the analysis and the start from Limerick. Like, Ollie, just take us through that. Like, that second half start that Limerick got, as you said, it looked like they were starting to enhance their superiority here.
Yeah, exactly. And Aaron Gallan really took off at the end of the first half, but then in the second half, you see a great score here from Garrod Hegarty. There's Jeremy Burns then, who was, I don't think missed anything today from frees, and maybe 1 or 2 from play as well. And they really, kicked on really well in the start of the second half here. That's recycled back to Gallan for another point from play. He got 6, I think, from play today, which is an unbelievable return. And even Tom Morrissey came into the game after maybe a couple of missed chances. He popped up for a couple of scores as well. So Limerick just had, I think, too many answers today around the field. Cathal O'Neill had a couple of misses but got a couple of scores as well. So they had, when the need was there most, different players stood up at different times.
Yeah, and then I suppose players that you needed to step up is that full forward line of Waterford, and Desi Hutchinson, when he got the ball, he did serious damage in the second half.
Okay, he had an unbelievable second half as well. I think it was an important game for Desi as well. Last couple of games, the Limerick full back line had his number, but look, got on the ball here very comfortable on the left hand side, a great score. But his movement, he's right there in front of us in the second half. His movement was just great. And look, Austin Leeson had a brilliant ball, and look, they're always looking for him. Get him on the ball. The first thing is now he's scored 3 or 4 points within around 10 minutes, but they stopped getting him in the ball. Like, this is a lovely bouncing ball. In fairness to Sean Finn, he's doing it as much as he can there, but the ball in there was just absolutely unbelievable. but then that started drying up, and that's why one of the reasons why they didn't score a point in the last 20 minutes. They were probably trying to go for the goal a bit much. But great game from Daisy as well in the second half.
It really ebbed and flowed. So then Waterford come back into it, and you're right, okay, what's Limerick's response going to be here? And then they're big guns. Maybe players are a little bit quieter. They really stood up, Ollie, didn't they?
Yeah, 100%. And the thing about it is here, with Limerick, they just have so much experience, Grania, built up over the last couple of years, that they're such a hard team to stop. And even if you solve the problem in one section of the field, you know, they pop up for scores again. And here's, I think it's Darragh Donovan here getting a chance straight over the bar, and you know, when you have your half-back line contributing, I mean, James, he said it there before, all of their backs, their cornerbacks, half-backs, they're all able to take a score, and when you have midfielders and the back line contributing to the scoreboard, you know, that's how you get results. Pat Ryan coming up the wing here, Pat came on, he's a finisher, we've seen him over the years come on and get scores like that, and once the ball went out to his hand, I think that was kind of the final one. It still was only 3 points at that stage. It's a dangerous lead to have coming into the last couple of minutes. But Limerick did enough today to get over the line.
Waterford, of course, in the league scored 22 goals. They got 2 goals last weekend as well. And then when you thought, are they actually going to get a goal, JJ? They got them.
Yeah, it's a score they badly needed there as well. Stephen Bennett, we were wondering, debating would we go for it or not, but Stephen Bennett put a lot of power in it, and he went in. He was proven right. See a bit of a topspin on it, straight down. Obviously, he'd off Sean's fin leg, went into the goal, but great finish. But then again, their kind of tails are up at this stage. Again, Stephen Bennett, they're looking for probing for a goal off the Callan lines there. We didn't which side he was going to pass it to, but Jack Pendergast, again, a kind of a note of Waterford's finish down through the league and in the chapters so far, down low into the ground, give Nicky Quaid no chance. But great running by Callan Lines there again, who had a fantastic game. But yeah, we thought it was game on at that stage there as well, to be fair. But again, Limerick came up with the answers. Every time Waterford got ahead or got close, Limerick always had the answer to pull away through 3 or 4 points in response.
You would have to say, from Waterford's point of view, it looked like the game was going away for them. They really did, you know, punch a few holes in the Limerick defence there, and fair credit to them. They came back with the 2 goals and made it an exciting finish in the end.
Indeed it was, and I suppose one of those main people that finished the game and was superb throughout was the central man of the match, Aaron Gillan. He's been speaking with Mike Finnerty.
Aaron, congratulations, you're the central man of the match. What a game.
Great match, Jeannie, thank God it's over. Couldn't really catch my breath there at the end. It was intent, I suppose, but we expected nothing less from Waterford, only a big challenge, and they definitely give it to us. So a good test for both us and for them, and thankfully we came out on top.
Tell me, I'm sure the game at this stage is still a bit of a blur, but when you look back, any particular turning points that you felt maybe made the difference in the end?
Not really, to be honest. I suppose coming in here today, we knew Waterford were going to try and restrict us, but I suppose it was just us having faith in our own game plan and sticking to it, and eventually we'd prevail. So we just focused on ourselves, and that's all we could do.
Aaron, when you look back at the second half in particular, Waterford scored those 2 goals. Serious questions asked of you and of Limerick.
Yeah, I suppose a bit of a shock for us. I suppose we were up 6 or 7 points at the time, and then they banged in the 2 goals. But as always, we just backed ourselves. We didn't change our game plan. We still worked the ball out from the back and just stuck to what we're used to, and it paid out in the end.
John Kiley spoke after the Cork game about the energy, the hunger that was in this group, and that it was back. You really needed it there in those last 5-10 minutes.
I wouldn't say it's back, to be honest. I don't think it's ever gone, you know. We were training like dogs there during the league, but still, that's no excuse for our performance. No, we were just getting ourselves right for championship, and that's the main thing at the end of the day.
And finally, Aaron, how do you feel about the prospect of running into Waterford again maybe in a few weeks' time?
That's for you to worry about. We'll focus on ourselves, and like whoever we're playing, we'll do a bit of work on them maybe the night before, but we won't be looking too far down the line, to be honest.
Thanks, Aaron. Well done. You're our central man of the match. Thank you.
Performance from Gillan. So let's try to dig a little bit deeper in terms of what Limerick we're doing in terms of getting him on the ball. So line ball here, we've got the high behind, just going to stop it here. There's Darragh Donovan on the ball, and what Limerick do such a brilliant job of is just creating these pockets of space either side of Gillan. The space for him to move left or right, we clear all that off, focus in, he's here with Prunty, and once we play it on, he's going to make that break out to his right hand side. The ball perfect from Darragh Donovan into that space. He's out in front, and again, you know, he just does that all day long. That ability to finish off that favoured left side. And again, he had options, but backs himself. And when Keane Lynch went off, you were wondering, what Limerick players would step up. Burns stepped up at the back, but no one more bigger than Gillan, and as deserved man of the match. Now, the other thing I suppose that was really interesting was we saw Waterford converting those 2 goal chances. but they had 2 other potential ones as well. So Austin Gleeson, again, attacking, heading towards goal. Limerick defence, however, there's Will O'Donoghue bursting to get back. Sean Finn is here, Mike Casey here. They're all in good position. But we saw, if we clear all that off, with the first goal, the second goal that Limerick got, the ball probably here, if we just take it on a little bit further, Gleeson, if he can manage to arrow this pass across to Mikey Kiley with real pace on it, as Stephen Bennett did to Caleb Lyons for the second goal, then maybe there's an opportunity. But he gets caught in 2 minds. Is it a shot? Is it a pass? But either way, Waterford managed to get something out of it. It's worked really well here into Desi Hutchinson. Nothing else on. He takes the point, and at least, as I said, they get something out of it. Now again, here's Gleeson. He's going to gamble. He's going to take a chance that this ball will break in behind. Patrick Curran is here, plays this really well, lets the ball run on behind him, slips the pass to Gleeson, and again the Waterford maestro, I suppose, is in on goal. So lovely pass to Gleeson here. Now again, if I stop it here, the ball, I think, is across here again to Jack Prendergast. If he can arrow that ball across really quickly and really accurately, I think the goal might be on. But he decides to shoot. You're not going to beat Nicky Quaid from there. Sean Finn is able to get a stick to it, and Limerick cleared their lines. They probably needed to get a little bit more out of those 2 opportunities that they did create, but they take a lot of solace from the fact that they were able to open up Limerick at the back in that second half. They scored 1 goal in the last 5 championship meetings. They got 2 tonight, created 2 other potentially good other goal chances in the second half, plus the 1 in the first half. So plenty of positives for Liam Cahill to take forward. But Grania, Limerick took Waterford's best shot tonight and still found all the answers, minus Keane Lynch, Seamus Flanagan, Peter Casey, and obviously losing Kyle Hayes and those guys probably to come back down the line. But great night's entertainment, and as we're all hoping, we get round 2 and possibly even round 3 just before the year's out.
But from Waterford's perspective now, so as you said, they gave it their best shot. They gave it everything there tonight and they still lost. So Liam Cahill's in the dressing room now trying to get everyone up possible Munster final, hoping that they reach. So how disappointed will he be? How disappointed will that team be, JJ?
I think, look, it was a huge performance for them. They went toe-to-toe with the best team in the country over the last 3 or 4 years, without doubt. Yeah, they come up short, but there were a lot of huge positives to work on. Again, it's only second round of the round robin as well. Like the All-Ireland final and the Munster final are a few weeks down the road, but they have to get there first now. They have to refocus themselves on the next match now. Again, they have to get back at Limerick again. Limerick are going to be in the Munster final, there's no doubt about that, and more than likely be in the All-Ireland final as well. So they have to kind of refocus and make sure, get themselves into that position, because you can't focus on Limerick anymore because they're not playing them next. They have to get there and back up again. But to me, I think they'll take a huge amount of positives out of these. The couple of Conor Prunty out and Gerard Hegarty worked for the first half. Irla Daly was doing very well, and Aaron Gillan's, funny thing to say, but he was for the first 20 minutes until he got injured. So the couple of things they tried did work out. So yeah, back for the lads to go back and analyse again there, but they've got a huge lot right, to be fair.
We looked at that graphic, Ali, and before I say that, and the margins were quite large, 11 points. Like, is it any comfort to say that the margin is reduced, that they only lost by 3 points? Is that any comfort in the way that their trajectory that they're going from a Waterford perspective?
I think it is, and we said coming into the game here, Liam Cahill wants to find out, like, have they got it, have they got the bottle, have they got the fight in them when Limerick were dominating them halfway through that second half. And I do give credit to them for finding 2 goals at the end of the game. But if you look back over the game, they had a couple of frees, there were missed chances. We saw some, they needed to get better quality ball. There was balls hit in over when Desi was on fire there for a period. A couple of balls were just misdirected. So, was it 100% or was that as good as Waterford are? No, I don't think so. I think they've got more in the tank, and I think they have a lot to work on, and Liam Cahill will take a lot out of that game.
Yeah, and it was 20 points all, on 50 minutes. I think Nicky said it, 40 points in the game, and they really got toe-to-toe with Limerick, traded blow for blow. But they only scored 1 point from there to the finish, throw in the 2 goals, obviously. That's not good enough. And I think Ollie said, it was maybe the 50th to the 62nd minute, Limerick outscored them 8-9 points to 1. You can't afford, to relent or let up at any stage. Limerick just play with that intensity and they're able to sustain it. Waterford just fell off a little bit. The energy levels, their ability to win the ball in the middle third, get the ball into Desi Hutchinson, and trying to claw back a 7-point deficit on this Limerick team is nigh on impossible. The goals gave them a chance. but you still felt that Limerick were going to get a kick on at the end of the
What
game.
are the reasons, though, for that lack of energy or that fallout? I know, obviously, they're working so hard out there, but Limerick didn't lose energy, they didn't lose focus. So what's the reason that it happened for Waterford?
A certain amount of it is maybe conditioning. This is the way Limerick train, this is the way Limerick have been training for the last 5 years, and those reserves of stamina, that ability, that this is normality for Limerick. This is training every night of the week, and they're able to sustain it. And, you know, that's the challenge for Waterford. Now, they did it for 50, 60 minutes. Last year, you could argue they did it for maybe 20, 25, 30, and the game was effectively over half-time. That allowed semi-final, 8 points down. So I think they're closing the gap. I think that they take a lot of positives out of it.
Do other counties take other positives out of it?
I don't know if other counties have what Waterford have in terms of whether they've got the physique, whether they've got the energy, the stamina, and so on. But Limerick had to dig deep tonight. You know, it works out well for them now. They have a break for, I think, a couple of weeks. They've got to go to Ennis to play Clare, who'll have 2 games in the meantime. That works out well for Limerick, and they may not need to be tipping the last game if they have 3 wins on the board, and maybe John Kiley can rest guys. But certainly, like, if anyone was any doubt, the bar hasn't moved, the standard hasn't deviated. Limerick are still the team that they all have to beat.
Well, I think the Waterford players even proved to themselves that they can actually function on this level. They come to semi-final last year, they were very, very disappointed with their own performance. But I don't think they'll be disappointed with their performance going home. Yes, they'll be disappointed with the result, but the performance they put in for, again, as Jamesy said, majority of that game would beat a lot of teams, but unfortunately wouldn't beat this Limerick team. So again, they have time to work on it. They're still in this championship, in Munster championship and the All-Ireland championship, but they have to kind of refocus there and go again.
Does it answer, Ollie, for you, that question about the lack of depth in the panel that Limerick have, what we've seen from Limerick this evening?
I think you're still looking at the same players that come up trumps. I think they brought lads off the bench, but they've been bringing them 3 or 4 lads off the bench in the past. I know maybe Colin O'Neill is a new guy in there tonight, coming in from the bench. But Limerick still have the go-to players. Tom Morrissey came up with scores, Darragh Donovan came up with scores, Hegarty came up with scores, Galan came up with the scores. So they still are reliant on them, the basis of their team that they've had there for the other few years. But all them guys are fit, all them guys are young. Maybe you don't need 20 plus players, you just need the 18 or 19 that'll see you through. And
that's leadership too, Gráinne. That's what you want. You lose Keane Lynch early on. Galan straight away raised his game. Burns has 2 outstanding performances now. Dan Morrissey was excellent on the other half back line. Hannon, I thought, was rock solid at centre back. So those guys up their game. Positive for Waterford. Caleb Lyons has really struggled against Limerick. He had a huge first half, 3 great points from play. They learned something that maybe he has something more to offer further up the field. Desi had been relatively quiet against Limerick in previous matches. 5 points from play. He can take huge confidence out of that. And Jamie Barron is the 3rd guy, that really has struggled, I think, to make any impact against Limerick. He just needs more game time. And if they can get more and those kind of performances, those guys, if they meet Limerick again, that's a positive to take forward.
JJ, you've played on that brilliant Kilkenny side. You were the hunted, Limerick were the hunted as well. What does a result like tonight do for them?
I think it's huge for them. Like, to know they have a serious challenger coming up, very, very close to them, like a lot closer than they were last year as well. So they'll have to up their game as well come when they go back in training again. But look, these guys are top players, but they want a challenge. They want these games, especially inside Limerick as well. They want teams coming here now and put them to the pin or the collar, because you don't get much satisfaction out of winning games by 20, 25 points. These are the games that you want to win. These are games that someone puts you to the pin or collar, and you want to drive it home and beat the guys in front there as well, because they will meet later on in the championship. Where it is, we'll have to wait to find out, but it's going to be fascinating to see what's going to happen next.
But Gráinne, there's always things to work on, I think, and Waterford definitely will have to work on why did they fade out of the game in that 12-minute period where Limerick just completely took over. Limerick will be going in saying we conceded 2 goals at the end. They won't be happy with that. They won't be happy with Desi Hutchinson getting 5 points from play, which would be man of the match performance on any other night, except for Aaron Galan with his performance tonight. So all managers and all players will take something from today. It's definitely not the finished article yet. Stuff to work on, but exciting to see what lies ahead.
Yeah, that's kind of it's scary, isn't it, for the rest of us that Limerick have still things to work on.
Well, I think that's why they are where they are.
Yeah, that's very
true. Most of the teams and most of the really, really good players, they're not happy.
They're not happy.
They'll find something to work on.
That's right. Lads, we're going to leave it there for a second now. Just to give you a run through on how the results panned out today. Of course, Wexford and Dublin, which was our first game here, there was a 1-point win for Dublin. Then Kilkenny had a 234-114 win over Laois, while Galway also getting back and getting those 2 points, 3 goals and 37 points to 1 goal and 17 against Westmeath. Limerick and Waterford, well, what a game we had here with Limerick, the All-Ireland champions, coming out on top by 3 points. And earlier in the Ulster Senior Football Championship quarter-final, it was a 120 to 10-point win for Cavan. Looking ahead then to tomorrow, it's over to Tipperary and Clare to follow this evening's brilliant clash as the Banner County begin their Munster Championship campaign away to Tipperary. What a battle awaits in Ulster as Donegal and Armagh meet in what should be a difficult encounter in Ballybofey in the Football Championship. Throw-in is at 2 p.m. Beaten All-Ireland finalists Mayo are at home in Hastings Insurance McHale Park to meet near neighbours Galway in the Connacht quarter-final. And round 1 of the Leinster Football Championship begins with Louth taking on Carlow, Wexford playing Offaly and Wicklow are at home to Laois. We're back next weekend with a football doubleheader starting in Clones as Monaghan and Down take centre stage before we return our attentions to Leinster with Dublin playing the winners of the Wexford and Offaly game. That match gets underway at 6:30 p.m. Well, Sin, that is it for us this evening from TUS Gaelic Grounds in Limerick. What a game we had seen. The All-Ireland champions, well, they haven't really gone away anywhere, have they? My thanks to JJ, Ollie and Jamesy for their company today. Until next weekend, from all of us here, Slán and take care.